Hi everyone, my name is Iman Traore. I'm a Master in Public Health student, second year. And what I'm hoping to get out of this class is just knowing more about other countries, how we can achieve health equity in places rather than just the United States. I got really interested in global health and global issues like a few years ago. I would say maybe 2 years ago, but especially after I read this book called Factfulness, and it was talking about a lot of the misconceptions that we have about other countries. And also, being that I am Ivorian and Malian, which are two countries in West Africa, I know I've gotten it my whole life, just like the different misconceptions that people think about or hear about Africa. So I just want to learn more about other countries and see what we can do to help other countries. And if I were to study about any other country than the one I was born in, so I was born in Ivory Coast, which is a country in West Africa. And if I were to study another country rather than that country, I would study Mali because that is also where my mom is from, and I have a lot of family back home in Mali. And I would definitely want to study Mali because I don't think that the information that's out there about Mali paints Mali in the best light. I think there's so much culture, so much language, so much history and music that needs to be looked at about the country that you just don't get to see in the media. You kind of get to see the negative, and you kind of see, these harmful misconceptions. So I would definitely want to study about Mali, and I'd want to put that out there so that people can also learn about the country and all its beautiful aspects as well. And when I watched the two videos, I really liked just the whole notion that we shouldn't be telling single stories, because I've noticed that, I mean, you can tell a single story about anything. And being West African myself, I've seen the single stories that have been told about West Africa. I feel as though I've contributed with some of those single stories and some of the things, like when Chimamanda mentioned the houseboy Fede, who was poor. Also at home, we have nannies who help raise the babies, help clean. And growing up, my family also told me that they were poor. And so that was what I felt about the nannies. I just felt that they were poor and my family was helping them by giving them this job. And little did I know, while I'm having these misconstrued views about them, people are also having misconstrued views about Mali, because then I'd come to school here and I'd talk about being West African. And the first questions I would get are like, oh, did I run naked? Oh, did I see lions and stuff like that? So I just always remember always defending myself in elementary school, being like, oh no, like my parents went to college, and you know what I mean? Just trying to make Africa and Mali not seem like this uncivilized type of like place that I felt that people were making it. So I really liked the stories. I really liked the Doctors Without Borders, and how they showed that most of the doctors come from South Sudan. I would never would have guessed that from what they show on the media. And I like that they emphasized that it's not just about, white faces. This is diversity. Lots of people are doing the work, and I think they need to showcase all aspects of that. So definitely really enjoyed both of those videos. And a single story that I hold, who I think I kind of mentioned them, but definitely they'd have to be with myself being West African. I, like I said, I grew up kind of defending my countries a lot and just explaining to people, oh, we don't live in huts, and oh, we have roads too. So as I grew up, I grew up in the suburbs, so I started to believe, as people were holding a single story about where I came from, I also started to hold a single story about the people that I grew up with, and I felt that they just were not cultured, and I just felt that they were ignorant. So I found myself, as I got older, when I would tell people where I'm from, I found myself immediately explaining, like, my background a little bit, and explaining that we are civilized, and we, have these different things that you may not know. We have schools, we have universities. So I definitely started to hold a single story about other people, assuming that they just didn't know anything about West Africa. assuming that they just were totally ignorant. And then obviously I got to college and met different groups of people, all shades and colors, who are very intelligent, have traveled, have know a lot about different countries, not just West Africa, the countries in West Africa. So yeah, that's definitely, I started to just think that my fellow suburban classmates were pretty ignorant, which they just didn't know. And I just found myself definitely almost over explaining my background because I assumed that people were going to judge me based off of where I'm from and have a single story about my countries. So I started to have a single story about them, which is also not right. So that has since changed, obviously, growing up and meeting different people. But yes, I'm just really excited for the class. I'm so interested in this topic and I can't wait to see everybody's responses.